Good evening. Thanks for joining us. The U.S. ambassador has been a vocal critic of Canada's response to the trade war. But it was Peter Hoekstra who asked for a one-on-one meeting with Premier David Eby. It was a chance for the Premier to stress the need to lower softwood lumber duties, clobbering our forest sector. The high-level talks came hours after anti-American sentiment turned violent in Toronto. CTV's Rob Buffum reports.
I'm still smiling, and so, and I think he is too, so it's great.
The U.S. ambassador to Canada, Pete Hoekstra, emerged from a 45-minute-long meeting with BC Premier David Eby, discussing what he called a whole range of issues.
Both smiling, and it was a good meeting.
It comes amidst an ongoing trade war, and the same day the U.S. consulate in Toronto was shot at.
I just want to condemn in every possible way the idea that shooting at a U.S. consulate building is a way to deliver a message. It is not.
Hoekstra has previously generated controversy with comments not always seen as diplomatic, labeling Canada as mean and nasty to deal with, citing the boycotts of American goods and travel. Today, he was more conciliatory.
What about this business of Canada being mean and nasty to deal with? Have your thoughts on that shifted, or is that still your view?
My view is I probably shouldn't talk about it.
Tuesday's summit was requested by Hoekstra, who is expected to canvass the BC government's ongoing boycott of U.S. booze on government liquor store shelves and Eby's exhortations to British Columbians to avoid vacation travel to the States.
These are, in my opinion, reasonable reactions to how we've been treated by the Americans. And my sincere hope is that the Prime Minister, together with the President, are able to stabilize our trade relationships.
Ahead of the meeting, Eby said he planned to focus on the need for a stable trade relationship with the U.S., improving the softwood lumber duties imposed by the states, and convincing Hoekstra to get President Trump on board with permanent daylight saving time.
To deliver a message to the President and to Congress about the need to get rid of changing the clocks down the West Coast, that would be beneficial for us all to be on the same time zone moving forward.
Hoekstra didn't specifically confirm that softwood lumber and alcohol bans came up, but implied they did, and he did pour cold water on the daylight saving time idea.
I don't know how we can get, all of the states and the provinces and, all on one page.
The ambassador deferred any news on thawing trade tensions to Carney and Trump.
The President and the Prime Minister talked on Sunday. They may talk again this week. I think any update should come from the Prime Minister and President.
But after nearly a year of combative rhetoric, Tuesday's meeting seemingly produced a more diplomatic and friendly tone.
Rob Buffum joins us live from Victoria. And Rob, have we heard from Premier Eby about how the meeting went?
Well, that's a good question, Mi Jung. The Premier issued a release just a few minutes ago describing the meeting as productive and acknowledging that a range of issues were canvassed, including daylight saving time, transnational crime. So various issues that were brought up, including the ban on U.S. booze and the travel boycott as well. He said that both parties did not agree on everything, but they also both expressed hope that there could be negotiations that led to better trade negotiations and agreements. In a lighter note today, I asked the ambassador his thoughts on the U.S. Olympic hockey team, and he was very quick to respond that at the final whistle, there was 4 members on the ice for the Olympic team who are from Michigan. He himself is from Michigan, so it would seem there are some points of commonality between both countries. Mi Jung.
All right, thank you, Rob. First-degree murder or a robbery gone wrong. Crown and defense have painted very different pictures during closing submissions on what led to the deaths of Abbotsford seniors Arnold and Joanne de Jong. CTV's Michelle Bernaro has more from the final day of trial and a warning some of the details are disturbing.
It has been a trial that has been both painful and long for the large extended family and many friends of Arnold and Joanne de Jong.
This is a really difficult trial, and there are people who've been very affected by the loss of our mom and dad.
Abhijit Singh, Kushveer Tour, and Gurkaran Singh are on trial for first-degree murder of the de Jongs. The couple, who were grandparents in their 70s, were found dead in their home in May of 2022. They had been tied up with rope. Arnold's head had been wrapped in duct tape, and Joanne's throat had been slashed.
The fear that they had to go through in those last hours, we will always remember that.
Each of the accused has their own set of lawyers, but they each put forth a common theory during defense's closing submissions. The most likely scenario is it was a botched robbery. Someone had an idea that went very, very wrong, the lawyer for one of the accused told the court, adding that it doesn't even seem the offenders contemplated what to do if the robbery went wrong. It's a suggestion the de Jong's family isn't buying.
There was horror that night. The way they were killed. Day after day, we live with that.
The lawyer for Gurkaran Singh says the mere existence of fingerprints on a sliding door in the de Jong home, but nowhere else, provides no evidence of his client being in the bedrooms where the de Jongs were found dead. And in the context of robbery, he says his client may have only been rummaging to find documents. Crown has argued the killings were deliberate and were motivated by financial pressure and greed. The accused, who have all pleaded not guilty, had done cleaning at the de Jong's home. Meanwhile, the de Jong's family says the community that has stood by them has held them up during a trial where they continue to hope for justice.
In spite of evil that was done, every day we come into such loving people and presence.
The judge will give her decision in the case on May 8th, almost 4 years to the day that the de Jongs were found dead. Michelle Bernoro, CTV News, Abbotsford.
After a winter that barely felt like one, snow arrived on the south coast today. The late season blast caught some drivers on the lower mainland and Vancouver Island by surprise. CTV's Martin McMahon is live on Burnaby Mountain where the snow is still coming down. Martin, how's it looking there?
Well, the kids are having a great time behind me as the snow continues to come down. And around Metro Vancouver, we've seen a mix of rain and snow depending on where you've been. But where it's been less fun is Vancouver Island, specifically the Alberni Valley, where truckers have been dealing with a lot of snow. The hazard lights getting plenty of use for truckers in the Alberni Valley. They're forced to get the chains out to navigate the slippery conditions along Highway 4.
Very uphill after this. Yeah. Brake check area. So better to put a chain on the tire.
Hoping it wasn't this bad in March, you know. We were hoping we're jumping into summer, but no, we're not.
I don't like it. I'm ready for summer.
In Metro Vancouver, areas including New Westminster saw snowfall. Burnaby among the places also getting a bit more than a dusting. East Vancouver, too.
I mean, I thought there was not going to be snow this year, but like it's always refreshing, you know, to see snow. Yeah.
I mean, it's nice. I wish it came when Christmas was around, but better late than never, I guess.
Vancouver is known for rain, more rain, and more rain. So it was nice to wake up this morning to a special sprinkling of snow.
City trucks were quick to get out with plows and salt. And it wasn't long before side streets took on a new look. On Caribou Road in Burnaby, some buses and trucks ended up just pulling over. Snow this late in the season in this part of the country doesn't happen very often.
Most of the snow is recorded in that December, January, February period, and not so much in the March period, just because you're already sort of tapping into the warmer air and the sun is getting stronger and that type of thing.
As for what's next, more snow could be on the way due to lingering Arctic air.
We're expecting another little bit juicier system coming through Wednesday night into Thursday. So more snow coming through, and with it, we're expecting some winds.
So as it sounds, it looks as if there could be more of this in the coming days. And certainly if you're doing any traveling, specifically on those high elevation highways, factor that into your planning. Mijung?
Yeah, at least the kids are having fun, and I even see someone right behind you with skis. So some people are enjoying it. Thanks, Martin. And let's take a look outside. A very different scene in downtown Vancouver. The roads are dry. I mean, there was a bit of snow at my house too, but it's all gone, which is the case for most people, I think, in Metro Vancouver.
Pretty much. We just saw it floating around, but yeah, no accumulations near sea level whatsoever. But we still have a special weather statement in place for Metro Vancouver, Sunshine Coast, and Vancouver Island into tomorrow morning. Trace to 5 centimeters of snow once again, this time for higher elevations and inland sections. inland Vancouver Island, as well as Sea to Sky Highway, Whistler and Squamish, 10 to 20 centimeters of snow as we head into tomorrow morning. And winter storm warnings in place for the Coquihalla Highway, upwards of 60 centimeters of snow through Thursday, 10 centimeters through Thursday for Highway 3 and the Okanagan Connector. We're not just dealing with snow here, also dealing with blowing winds gusting to about 100 kilometers an hour. So very dangerous driving conditions if you are headed onto the mountain passes.
CTV Weather brought to you by Expedia Cruises. Make the most of your next vacation by booking with those who've been there. Visit expediacruises.ca.
And it won't last very long. It'll all be washed away with the rain coming in. I've got your full forecast coming up.
All right. Thanks a lot, Ann. A fire at a Mission retirement home has forced nearly 150 seniors out of their homes. Thanks to the quick work of staff and first responders, everyone made it out safely. But there are still questions about what sparked the flames. Here's CTV's Yasmin Gandam.
Fire crews have remained on scene for most of the day, dousing the building with water as the roof looks to be caved in and the exterior heavily damaged. 142 residents were rushed out of the Chartwell Carrington house on 7th Avenue at around 6 p.m. Monday night as flames shot out of the roof, and crews did everything to get everyone out safely in a miraculous rescue.
You can imagine that there's a 3-floor building, and they were evacuating the 3rd floor first because that's where the most viable and most endangered were. So fire was directly above them, and they put their lives at risk.
Police say seniors were first evacuated onto the street, and a nearby church took them in before an emergency shelter was set up at the Mission Leisure Center. This as people across Mission all acted fast to help support seniors and their families.
Churches opened their doors, restaurants sent food, people showed up to help sit with loved ones while they were waiting for their families.
One resident was later found alive in the stairwell and was treated for smoke inhalation.
Incredible. She's over 100 years old, but she's doing fine, so that's a really great thing.
Police confirm no one has been seriously injured, and 16 people were sent to hospital with minor injuries as ambulance crews, both ground and air, were dispatched to the scene.
Probably one of the most hazardous ones that Mission Fire Rescue has ever undertaken. We're literally evacuating people on the 3rd floor as AC units were falling through the ceiling behind our crews. So it's a very, very hazardous thing. Can't say enough about the courage of my crews.
It was a little scary. I was getting a little nervous standing on my balcony. I put a mask on.
Paul Hawkridge lives in the apartment complex next door and says the flames were so powerful he was preparing to evacuate his home.
I went and grabbed my bag, my wallet, my passport, that sort of thing, and was getting ready to leave in a moment's notice, but I just couldn't believe how fast it spread.
The cause of the fire is still under investigation, but police say there is no indication of anything criminal. Residents have now been temporarily relocated, some with family and others at nearby Chartwell homes or local hotels, as they hope they can soon return home. Yasmin Gandam, CTV News, Mission.
Today marks 1 month since the Tumbler Ridge mass shooting tragedy. While the community looks to rebuild, many questions still loom, and one family is now seeking justice through the legal system. CTV's Ben Nesbitt has more.
On February 10th, the community of Tumbler Ridge was forever changed. 6 children and 2 adults were shot to death. The shooter, Jessie Van Rootselaar, then took her own life.
I see, a lot of people talking in the community, whether that's in the grocery stores or the bakery here in town or the restaurants, there are lots of people still hurting.
Students have returned to school and mental health supports remain available, but the local MLA says they're trying to take it day by day.
I don't know that healing is the correct word. It's a word I'd be very reticent to use, but the community is moving forward.
Neufeld says the last of the deceased was laid to rest over the weekend, while down in Vancouver, one of the survivors, 12-year-old Maya Gabala, continues to recover in hospital after being shot 3 times in the head, neck, and face. Her family has filed a civil lawsuit against OpenAI, the company behind ChatGPT. The claim alleges the shooter used the chatbot to help plan the attack, stating ChatGPT equipped the shooter with information, guidance, and assistance to plan a mass casualty event like the Tumbler Ridge mass shooting. And it says OpenAI staff flagged warning signs months before the shooting, adding the OpenAI defendant subsequently rebuffed their employees' request to contact Canadian law enforcement.
The justice system is there to find accountability and answers, and I can see that that's an important step, and so it makes sense that they launched this class action against OpenAI.
OpenAI has not responded to the lawsuit, and the claims have not been proven in court. A coroner's inquest has been called to examine the circumstances surrounding the shooting, while Neufeld is renewing his calls for a public inquiry, which often have a broader scope.
The massive failure that we've seen in this situation and the other mass casualty event, Lapu-Lapu, the commonality is a complete failure of the mental health system. And that is something that we need to dig into and we need to understand.
A date for the coroner's inquest has not been set. Ben Nesbitt, CTV News, Vancouver.
Vancouver Mayor Ken Sim is being sued. The defamation suit was filed by City Councillor Sean Orr, who says the mayor's actions have damaged his reputation. It is just the latest chapter in the long saga about false comments Sim made about his political opponent. CTV's Sinjit Alexander has the details.
Calling the mayor's actions reckless, false, and targeted, Sean Orr has just picked a legal battle with a political adversary less than 7 months before an election.
He accused me of trafficking illegal drugs. He accused me of being a criminal.
The notice of civil claim filed Tuesday alleges Sim acted deliberately, maliciously, and in bad faith, with the ulterior purpose of furthering his own perceived political benefit.
Because of Ken Sim's words, people have lost trust in me through no fault of my own, forming a dark cloud over this election and in my life beyond.
Those words came when Sim falsely accused Orr of handing out illegal drugs on Christmas Day. The mayor eventually apologized.
I didn't verify what I thought I saw, and frankly, I should have never repeated it to begin with.
But Orr is suing, saying the damage to his reputation has already been done, alleging Sim acted knowing it to be false or with reckless indifference to its truthfulness.
Bringing a legal proceeding, it's not normally something you would do if you're bluffing. So I do think that that Sean Orr is serious here in his intent.
At the same time, defamation is very hard to prove. Orr's legal team will likely scrutinize the mayor, but look for Sim's team to do the same to Orr. The Vancouver councillor has made controversial comments in the past, including about the Jewish community.
The mayor will be entitled to a robust defense, and so there will be perhaps some mud slung as a result.
The timing of the suit will also be questioned, as will Orr's online fundraiser to pay for legal costs. He says he's never sued before.
I'm not sure what the process is, right? So I think the lawyers are pretty confident.
The mayor's office acknowledged the suit but refused to comment further as it's before the court. And that, say pundits, could actually give his party time to regroup. By repeating he can't comment for legal reasons, the story might move to the back burner. Sinjin Alexander, CTV News, Vancouver.
2 suspects fire shots at the U.S. consulate in Toronto. Police investigate whether it's connected to recent gunfire targeting synagogues. Also ahead.
She's stealing my car.
A brazen theft. A criminal steals a Maple Ridge woman's car right from her driveway. She captures the crime on camera. Just ahead on CTV News at 6. And Langley are investigating a robbery of a designer handbag during what was supposed to be a Facebook marketplace sale. Langley RCMP say it happened on 85th Avenue at around 6:30 last night. The victim had arranged to meet the buyer at a residential building. The suspect then grabbed the bag from the victim's hands before shoving her to the ground and running to an idling vehicle. Anyone who recognizes the suspect is asked to contact Langley RCMP. A Maple Ridge family is left without a vehicle after a shocking theft that was all caught on camera. CTV's Craig Krause has more on the brazen crime and the plea to the public for information.
At around 9:30 Monday morning in Maple Ridge, you can see here a woman begins walking, then running. Nearly 15 seconds later, a black SUV quickly reverses into the road before you see another woman chasing the vehicle.
She's stealing my car. She just stole my car.
Kaylee left watching as her vehicle takes off down the road.
Oh my God.
I think my first instinct was
to double check that it was real and that I was holding my baby.
CTV News is protecting Kaylee's identity for her concern about her child's safety. An otherwise safe neighborhood that Kaylee believes was just a thief in the right place at the right time. After Kaylee started the vehicle to warm it, as she placed the stroller and other items inside before going back in to get her daughter.
It could have happened to anybody.
Hundreds of dollars had been spent on a credit card that was inside before it was disabled. Ridge Meadows RCMP is aware of the theft and a report has been filed. And while the search is on for the 2009 dark gray Ford Escape, police are urging the public, especially during the colder months, to take extra precautions and remain vigilant about vehicle anti-theft prevention.
That's crazy.
In the meantime, Kaylee is now without a car and has a message for the thief.
I just really love my car back, but at the end of the day, I just hope she gets the help she needs because clearly she needs some.
Craig Crow, CTV News, Maple Ridge.
Big changes are coming to Queen Elizabeth Park this summer. The park board voted unanimously in favor of building some new nature-based attractions, including a 120-meter zip line and a tree canopy walkway. A visitor center is also in the works, as well as a new seasonal bus service that would connect the park with Van Dusen and Granville Island. The new attractions will be privately funded, and there will be revenue sharing with the park board. And some breaking news. Vancouver City Council has just voted unanimously to provide funding to allow car-free days to run this year, just a week after it was announced it would not be happening. According to the Car-Free Society, the festival had been originally canceled due to a $30,000 budget shortfall. The amount would cover the city's own charges for expenses such as police and street cleaning. For many kids, spring break means a time to enjoy being off school. But for others, it means not having access to meal programs they rely on. And we're getting a sneak peek at some hard workers who are making sure those kids have what they need.
What we're really trying to do is provide staple items to families that they can make all sorts of meals with. So rice, lentils, pasta, things also that are familiar for kids and that they're going to want to eat.
Staff and volunteers with Backpack Buddies were hard at work today at their North Vancouver office, preparing more than 1,000 meal kits for kids in Surrey. The backpacks will be filled with enough food to help sustain kids over the course of the 16-day break. Police are investigating whether there are terrorism links to a shooting targeting the U.S. consulate in Toronto. Also ahead.
I think you'll see it's going to be a short-term excursion. How good is our military?
Mixed messages from the White House about how long the war on Iran will last. New video from the U.S. about its bombardment of the besieged country. That's ahead. A shooting outside the U.S. consulate in Toronto is being treated as a national security incident as investigators look into any possible terrorism links. Police say 2 suspects exited a white Honda CR-V outside the consulate early this morning before firing multiple rounds into the building. People were inside, but no injuries have been reported. An image of the suspect's vehicle has been released. Toronto police say it's too early to link the incident to previous shootings at several synagogues in the city.
It is not lost on us that the city has unfortunately experienced similar types of events, extremely serious and very concerning shootings at synagogues, and this very much factors into how we will approach this matter as well.
Prime Minister Mark Carney has called the shooting a reprehensible act of violence and attempt at intimidation. He says the RCMP and federal agencies will be provided all needed resources to support their investigation and identify the suspects. To Washington now, where there are conflicting messages about when the war in Iran will end. Donald Trump warned Iran not to interfere with international oil shipments, now saying he expects the fighting to end very soon. With more, here's CTV's Joy Malbon.
The Pentagon with new video bombing Iran's missile launchers and destroying their ammunition stockpiles. A fresh round of attacks. The U.S. says it has hit more than 5,000 targets, including 50 vessels.
Today will be, yet again, our most intense day of strikes inside Iran. The most fighters, the most bombers. On the other hand, The last 24 hours have seen Iran fire the lowest number of missiles.
Secretary of War Pete Hegseth says Iran is badly losing and there will be no let-up. This as the Trump administration is sending mixed messages when the conflict will end. The president suggested the war's goals were pretty much complete, telling Republicans,
I think you'll see it's going to be a short-term excursion. How good is our military, right?
Trading threats on social media, Trump told Fox News he's not happy with Iran's new supreme leader, a hardline cleric and son of the assassinated Ayatollah Khamenei, saying, I don't believe he can live in peace. Iran's security chief shot back, warning the U.S. president, be careful not to get eliminated yourself. This after Trump threatened to rain fire and fury on Iran, warning the regime against stopping the world's flow of oil through the Strait of Hormuz, now at a standstill and sending gas prices soaring. But the White House insists that won't last long.
U.S. military is drawing up additional options following the president's directive to continue keeping the Strait of Hormuz open. I will not broadcast what those options look like, but just know the president is not afraid to use them.
So when will it all end? The White House and Secretary of War both say that's up to President Trump to determine when Iran is no longer a direct threat to America. Joy Melvin, CTV News, Washington.
Canada's most famous four-legged weather prognosticator has died. The search now for a new Wiarton Willie. Also ahead, the great white shark became famous after the movie Jaws. How an app is tracking a massive female shark off the coast of Vancouver Island. Next. He predicted an early spring, but he won't be around to see it. Just over a month after predicting this early spring, Wiarton Willie has died. Canada's most famous rodent prognosticator died peacefully in his sleep, according to local officials. The albino groundhog was the latest in a long line of groundhogs chosen to predict the end of winter. And the town's mayor says a search will now start for Willie's successor. He says Wiarton residents are grateful for the memories Willie created and the pride he brought to the town. And that's a lot of pressure for Wiarton Willie to predict for the whole country. Yeah, right? Exactly. We have different spring, winter conditions. And our spring, we thought we were having an early spring, but didn't quite work out that way.
Yeah, it was a full spring. And even in Vancouver, we have different climates everywhere as well. As we saw today, we had snow at higher elevations near sea level. We didn't see any whatsoever. And that's all thanks to this really cold, unsettled air mass, as you can see on our satellite radar imagery. So a special weather statement has been continued for Vancouver Island, Sunshine Coast, and Metro Vancouver into tomorrow morning with higher elevations and inland areas. You'll see anywhere between a trace to 5 centimeters of snow. Also, snowfall warning in effect for the Sea to Sky Highway, 10 to 20 centimeters of snow through tomorrow evening, and highway snow through Thursday. Coquihalla Highway, there's a winter storm warning in effect. 60 centimeters expected, 10 centimeters of snow expected for Highway 3 and the Okanagan Connector with gusty winds upwards of 100 kilometers an hour. So expect snow and blowing snow and really dangerous driving conditions if you are headed into those areas. Here's a look at our weather tracker right now. Drying up, cloudy skies, a few showers through the overnight. Into tomorrow morning, we start off dry. Rain returns at mid-morning tomorrow. Higher elevations will see that rain-snow mix once again, and then we'll see rain continue through the afternoon and evening hours, and it'll be heavy at times. For the central interior, you're looking at a mix of sun and cloud with a few afternoon flurries. Your provincial forecast at the bottom of your screen. Flurries transitioning into showers for Port Hardy tomorrow. Well, that's what you can expect for Campbell River and Comox. 7 degrees to start off the day, drying up through the afternoon. Periods of rain for South Island, for Tofino, a wintry mix for Port Alberni. Rain from Nanaimo right down to Victoria. Temperatures between 5 and 7 degrees. For the Sunshine Coast, sunny breaks with some showers and 6 degrees. Rain snow mix up the Sea to Sky Highway for Squamish. Whistler, you'll see about 5 centimeters of snow. And across the lower mainland, higher elevations could see that wet snow mix once again to start off the early morning hours. It transitions over into rain with temperatures between 4 and 6 degrees heading into Thursday. We'll start off cloudy, showers in the afternoon, drying up for Friday, clearing up for Saturday, Sunday. We'll see rain return in the afternoon, continuing into Monday. And then on Tuesday, slight chance of early morning showers, drying up, and look at that, warming up to 12 degrees. CTV weather brought to you by Expedia Cruises for air, land, and sea vacations. So a little bit of more today, tomorrow, and then it'll transition fully into rain.
Okay, but most of us will not have to bring the shovels out. We have
No,
not
definitely.
had to bring them out at all this winter.
Exactly.
All right, thanks, Anne. A shark research tracking app is showing a massive female great white is swimming off the coast of Vancouver Island. The app, called Expedition White Shark, allows users to see in near real time great white shark tracking data at the same time as researchers. It clocked a female shark named Kara just over 100 kilometers off the shores of Vancouver Island. Scientists say this isn't unusual as ocean temperatures rise and there's an abundance of food like seals and sea lions.
Thanks to these sorts of technology, that we become more sensitive to the needs of these different species, and even recognizing that, you know what, British Columbia is also home to great whites.
He adds this is likely just the tip of the iceberg. There are likely many more off our coast still undetected by humans. The rise in scams using AI, how criminals are capitalizing on news events to try to dupe victims. Also ahead.
The tour includes 14 days of breakfasts and dinners.
Anger from a traveler when a Vancouver tour company canceled his dream trip to Egypt, citing the war in the Middle East. Why he wasn't given a refund. Coming up on CTV News at 6.
Time now for tonight's Skywatch. Commuters on the Trans-Canada driving through some chunky rain this morning under an overcast sky near the Portman Bridge.
CTV Skywatch is brought to you by Kermac Collision and Autoglass, the name you'll remember when it matters. Kermac cares for kids.
Taking a look at today's markets, the Canadian dollar up slightly, but still trading for 73 cents to the American dollar. Oil down 11.32, closing the day at 83.45 U.S. a barrel. Gold gained just over $138 on the day. The TSX was up 81 points, while the Dow Jones was down 34 points. A new survey suggests Canadians remain passionate about exploring new destinations, but changing global dynamics are reshaping how and where they travel. CAA's TravelWise national survey found more than half of Canadians say geopolitical and economic factors, such as instability abroad, a perception of the U.S. as being less welcoming, and rising travel costs are influencing where they go. Only 22% of respondents plan to visit the U.S., while 40% are opting to stay within Canada or explore international destinations. After war broke out in the Middle East, an Ottawa man says he became caught between two cancellation policies, one for his Vancouver-based tour company, the other his insurance, and neither wanted to give him a refund, leaving him out thousands of dollars. CTV's Tyler Fleming reports.
Tours have been going ahead.
Frank Menezes was excited for his upcoming bucket list trip of a lifetime.
I was going to Egypt because I love history.
A $7,500 tour he booked through Canadian company Adventures Abroad, a business he trusted and had used before.
The tour includes 14 days of breakfasts and dinners, paid or included in the price of the tour, and fully guided day trips.
But just days before departure, Adventures Abroad canceled the trip because of safety concerns, citing the war in the Middle East along with an updated do not travel advisory from the United States.
There's no war in Egypt. There's no civil unrest in Egypt. As soon as I found the trip was canceled, I asked for my refunded credits.
But according to the policy on their website, the company does not have to provide a refund and instead says customers should go through travel insurance.
If something is not feasible...
Menezes thought he'd be fine. He had purchased trip insurance, but because Canada did not change its travel advisory, his claim was denied.
If a tour company is canceling the trip on their own accord for obvious reasons, they have got to give either a credit or refund back to the client.
But there was another issue.
Adventures Abroad offered $200 a discount if I paid through e-transfer, so I did it.
Had he put it on a Visa card or something like that, he could have disputed it. and would have had money coming back that way.
I would like people to be fair.
Menezes says after emailing the Vancouver-based tour provider, they said they may be able to provide partial credit to future trips.
They're dancing around the subject.
But when contacted by CTV News Ottawa, Adventures Abroad said while it stands by its decision to cancel, Menezes will receive a full credit toward another trip.
There's one spot left for October 4th, so I'm going to take it. Thank you very much, CTV and Tyler. I can now pursue my historical quest or whatever of Egypt.
A new survey from Interact shows nearly 8 in 10 Canadians believe AI is making it easier for fraudsters to create highly convincing scams and faster than ever. The survey finds more scams are capitalizing on breaking news and current events, making it harder to differentiate between real messages and fraud. In the past 6 months, nearly 60% say they have experienced a tariff-related scam, including messages about packages being held or delayed and customs impersonation calls. And a quarter of Canadians have noticed an increase in scam attempts that reference rising cost of living pressures, including overdue bill notices and offers of government assistance. Still ahead, living large forgets selling sunset. This is selling Skeena. We've got some luxurious listings to fuel your wildest dreams. And in this case, the homes are truly wild. Plus, finding feathered friends. Adam meets a woman who never imagined she would start listening for birds until she found she couldn't stop. Next on the Sawatsky Sign Off. Right now, here's Carrie with a preview of Your Morning Vancouver.
Well, the cost of gas has been on the rise the past week. Wednesday on Your Morning Vancouver, we're hearing from a gas analyst about just how high prices could get amid turmoil in the Middle East. Plus, are you looking for ways to get the most out of your dollar over the spring break? The advice that could save you some money. We'll see you in the morning.
Strikes out Ohtani.
An amazing moment today at the World Baseball Classic for Czechia pitcher Andrej Satoria. Satoria, who works as a full-time electrician, played his final game for the Czech national team and pitched 4 scoreless innings against a stacked Japan team, even striking out superstar Shohei Ohtani. Japan would end up winning 9-0, but after the game, Satoria received a standing ovation from the fans. With the World Cup just a few months away, the coach of the Canadian men's soccer team is preparing for the biggest challenge of his career. But today, Jesse Marsh is highlighting a very personal challenge. To mark the 5-year anniversary of his wife's breast cancer diagnosis, Marsh is lending his support to Soccer for Cancer, a new fundraising initiative. Teams across the country will be able to sign up online to hold their own fundraising tournaments to benefit cancer research of their choosing.
Early treatment and identifying things before they become bigger issues, I think that's the part that we want to create energy around, right? We want people to be engaged in women's health, and so that's been a big part of it, is just now making sure that we create some initiatives that people are excited about, that people are attached to, that there's energy around everything that we're doing with Soccer for Cancer.
Kim Marsh is now cancer-free and fully recovered. She'll be cheering on her husband, along with the rest of the country, when the World Cup kicks off in June.
Nice.
Great that he's using his profile to raise awareness for early detection. Okay, it's time for Living Large, our new weekly segment showcasing dream homes across BC and what it would cost to call them your own.
Yep, tonight we're touring some of the most luxurious listings in the Skeena region. Well, this $9 million listing is the historic castle
Cassiar Cannery, a 74-acre waterfront property with 12 bedrooms, 6 bathrooms, and a full kilometer of shoreline on the Skeena River. The site includes 5 former manager homes, 4 of which have been restored as guest houses. It also offers direct on-rail access with its own registered stop and private crossing. That's about the best part, isn't it?
That is amazing.
So it's remote, but you can get there.
Yep, very accessible.
And you can invite all your friends.
Exactly. Well, you may recognize this property. Little Wolf Resort was designed and built by the Timber Kings, the namesake of the HGTV show. The Cedar Castle sits on a 130-acre peninsula on the Skeena River near Terrace. It's listed for just under $20 million and zoned in a way that allows the 6-room resort to be expanded to 30 rooms.
Wow.
Not too shabby.
Love that interior.
Definitely. And listed at just under $15 million, Manette Bay Lodge is a 6,600 square foot coastal estate just outside of Kitimat. With 11 bedrooms and 7 bathrooms, this property serves as both a family retreat and a high-end guest lodge with luxury baked into every detail. It sits on a secluded 77-acre waterfront estate, not too bad, hey? Surrounded by walking trails, an orchard, and creeks crossed by suspension bridges. Wow, what a getaway.
Yeah, I think if we pool our money together, we could get 1 guest house.
And 17 more people to also pool in their money.
Yeah, it would be definitely a group effort to get one of those homes, but they are beautiful. Okay, we'll get to the Sawatsky sign-off in just a moment. First, Lauren, what's coming up tonight?
Well, Mijung, a heated debate is underway at City Hall tonight with a public hearing on Vancouver's official development plan, and that's underway right now. It is in response to a new provincial requirement to have a citywide plan in place by June of next year, and it includes some blanket rezoning in this proposal that would allow mixed-use high-rise buildings in several neighborhoods. More than 150 people have submitted their feedback to have their say, so looking like it will be a marathon meeting tonight, Beach.
Yeah, it's going to be a contentious one, I'm sure. All right, thank you, Lauren. Finally, Adam talks to a woman who traded in the sounds of notifications from social media for a better kind of music to her ears on the Sawatsky sign-off.
Before she went outside, Zoe Flashner felt stuck inside her phone.
You're trying to get the high, get the ping of dopamine over and over again.
But despite spending up to 4 hours a day scrolling, Zoe was always left feeling empty. So she decided to try something she never imagined she'd do.
Because it's totally a joke that as you get older, suddenly you're interested in the birds. So it got to me a little early.
The 25-year-old says she now regularly goes for walks in the park to not just hear birds, but listen to them.
Something grounding about actually stopping and being intentional about it.
Now, she did use a bird call app on her phone to learn who's who, and does take pictures of who she meets, like a couple American coots.
They're so cool. They have these crazy webbed feet.
Or a few northern flickers.
I love the flickers with their polka dotted feathers.
But if you look at the middle of your screen,
hummingbird.
When she spots an Anna's hummingbird.
They're so cool. They do these crazy mating dances, the males fly up really high and then dive bomb to the ground.
When you hear Zoe's enthusiasm,
they make this oh, there's one right there.
You start to appreciate why instead of scrolling, Zoe is choosing to use her phone for zooming.
It just feels so special. It's like a treat.
To relish how the hummingbird is revealing a flash of pink feathers.
And he's totally performing for us right now.
How happy are you?
I'm very happy. This is such a simple joy.
And if you compare this simple joy to whatever's being offered by that complex algorithm?
It's the birds, for sure. And
a bird is a better dopamine hit than something really amazing on social media.
Than getting all the likes on Instagram, yeah. I fear the birds are winning.
So although Zoe still finds herself getting stuck in her phone,
sometimes it feels a little painful, but then the moment I am out of the house,
she's grateful to the birds who showed her how to fly free from it.
I can't think of anything I would rather do.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Vancouver.
The Sawatsky sign-off, brought to you by
CapitalDirect.ca. Let's make your vision a reality with Capital Direct. Call and talk to our team today.
And of course, that was Trout Lake, a wonderful place to find stories. Adam always finds some interesting people there.
Wherever he goes, really, hey?
Are you guys birders?
I'm not a birder, but I do have a bit of a hidden gem, if we're allowed to use that term. On Burnaby Lake, they have a bird sanctuary. You can walk out onto a dock and have them all kind of just flock all around you. And last time I went, there was actually people who came from several other countries just to see everything that was there. So that's awesome.
Birders are passionate
They are.
about their hobby.
My husband bought a book during COVID because what else were we supposed to do,
Yes.
right? So we were on the app identifying birds that we saw. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can use the app again now.
Exactly. Now we'll go to Burnaby Lake.
It is better than looking at social media, right?
100%. All right, let's take a look at our scenic snapshot for tonight. Significant snowfall in Port Alberni this morning. 8 centimeters by 8 o'clock. Thanks, Doug, for sending this one in. More on the way for you. And we want to see your scenic snapshot. So email us at scenicsnapshot@ctv.ca.
Wow, the island's going to get way more than us, right?
Yeah, definitely.
All right, thanks, Ann. Thanks for joining us tonight. Lauren will be back tonight at 11:30.
Good night.